Hello, in this video, we continue to read, the book, The Cashflow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki. This is video number 25. And in this one, he's talking about being successful as an employee or being successful as an investor. So let's see what happens, and then you choose what you want to be, successful as an employee or successful as an investor. This is video number 25. Please join me. Hello, welcome to Take a Step to a Better You. On here, I share what I know and continue to learn. If you're new, my name is Sherifa, Nakalema. I'm a business owner here in Virginia, USA, and my passion is about sharing what I think could take your life to the next level. The areas will be business, earning money, investing money, saving money, personal development, and motivation. That's what I do here. And please consider subscribing. Check to see the red button. For those of you who have been here before, thank you very much. Check your red button, subscribe button. Is it still red? If it's still red, you haven't supported this channel. Please support this channel because I think this is a great message. Like the videos, share the videos. My schedule is daily. I'm here daily, reading books for 5 days a week, see the schedule. And then I'm live on Friday and motivation on Sunday. That's out of the way. So this video number 25 is about Robert Kiyosaki. I don't know if you're familiar with his name, because he wrote a famous book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. And now this was his book number 2, The Cashflow Quadrant. He calls it a guide to financial freedom, and it really is. And before I even continue, if you are new, you have to be familiar with the terms he's using. He calls it the Cashflow Quadrant. The book itself is called the Cashflow Quadrant. Because according to him, that's Robert's idea, that incomes come to you from 4 different quadrants. I'm going to show an image here. On the left, you are either an employee or a self-employed person or a small business person. On the right, you are a business owner or you are an investor. And he's teaching us how we could move ourselves from the left to the right, because he's sharing why being on the left has disadvantages, like in this video. So that's just a reminder. Even if you watched me before, it's the quadrant. Everything is about that quadrant. And now I have also to remind you that in video number 24, he was talking about job security and financial freedom. Which one are you choosing? That video was not watched much. Even the people who watch these videos for that, because the wait came, I brought it earlier and I was traveling, so he wasn't given attention. Please, the previous video had very important information. This is number 25, and this time he's saying success as an employee or success as a business owner, investor. He's in what I'm going to read. He's talking about the 2 dads and how they behave. So you see where this one, the educated one, which was his dad, how his life was, and then compare with the one who was not educated, but who was the rich one. And then you'll decide, because it's kind of a boring read, but just listen to what he's saying, because he tends like to repeat himself. At first I thought maybe I'll skip it, but I decided to read it because I decided that I saw that there was that lesson. He was comparing the 2 dads. Not like directly, but he's just, you listen. I'm now about to start reading. So he says, he had a small headline, The Success Trap. That's what he called it. Remember, originally I thought I would skip something, but I decided to read them. I'll read all of it. Okay. One of the reasons I learned so much from my rich dad was because he had the free time to teach me. As he grew more successful, he had more free time and money. His business got better, but he didn't have to work harder. He simply had his president expand the system and hire more people to do the work. If his investments did well, he reinvested the money and made more money. Instead of working, he spent hours with his son and me explaining to us everything he was doing in the business and investing. I was learning more from him than I was learning at school. That's what happens when you work hard on the right side of the cash flow quadrant. The B and I side. That's why I showed you the image. He's talking about what happens on the B and I side. My highly educated dad, he's on the left. I'm the one adding that. Worked hard too, but he worked hard on the left side. By working hard, getting promoted, and taking on more responsibility, he had less and less time, less free time to spend with his kids. He would leave for work at 7 a.m. and many times we wouldn't see him because we had to go to bed before he got home. That's what happens when you work hard and become successful in the E and S quadrants, the left side. Success brings you less and less time, even if it does bring more money. So now he called it the money trap. It's a sub-headline. Success on the B and I side requires a particular kind of knowledge about money called financial intelligence. Rich Dad said that financial intelligence determines not so much how much money you make, but how much money you keep and how hard that money works for you and how many generations you can keep it. My Rich Dad was, I skipped a few sentences because it's almost similar. My Rich Dad was good with money and with people at work. So as I'm reading this, think about the two dads and how they're behaving, how he's describing them. So my rich dad was good with money and with people at work. He had to be. He was responsible for creating money, managing a few people as few people as possible, keeping costs low, and keeping profits high. Those are the skills necessary for success on the right side. It was my rich dad who stressed that your home is not an asset, but a liability. He could prove it simply by looking at the numbers. My educated dad didn't manage money and people at work, although he thought he did. As the state superintendent of education, he was a government official with a multi-million-dollar budget and thousands of employees. But it was not money he created. It was the taxpayers' money. And his job was to spend all of it. If he didn't spend it, the government would give him less money the next year. So at the end of each fiscal year, his goal was to deplete his budget, which meant he often hired people to justify the next year's budget. The funny thing was that the more people he hired, the more problems he had. As a young boy, observing both fathers, I began to take mental notes of what kind of life I wanted to live. My educated dad was a voracious reader of books, so he was word literate, but he was not financially literate. Because he couldn't read numbers on a financial statement, he had to take the advice of his banker and accountant, and both told him that his house was an asset and that it should be his largest investment. Because of this financial advice, not only did my highly educated dad work harder, he also got further into debt. Every time he received a promotion for his hard work, he also got a pay raise. And with each pay raise, he went into a higher tax bracket. Because he was in a high tax bracket, and taxes of high income workers in the 1960s and 70s were extremely high, his accountant and banker would tell him to buy a bigger house so he could write off the interest payments. He made more money, but all that happened was that his taxes increased and his debt increased. The more successful he got, the harder he had to work, and the less time he had with the people he loved. Soon, all the children were gone, and he was still working hard just to keep up with the bills. I'm about to end, by the way. He always thought that the next promotion and pay raise would solve his problem. But the more money he made, the more the same things happened. He got deeper into debt and paid more in taxes. The more further he got, both at home and at work, the more he seemed to depend on job security. The more emotionally attached he got to his job and to a paycheck to pay the bills, the more that he encouraged his kids to get a safe, secure job. The more insecure he felt, the more he thought he sought security. So that's why I end with the reading. But if you listen to me very carefully as I was reading, he just compared two kinds of lives. The life for the rich parent, or the rich dad, who was not his real dad. That was, if you followed the story in the Rich Dad book, this one, the one I finished, videos are below, the description below. You go in the playlist. I have the Rich Dad lessons from Robert Kiyosaki. I have 68 videos all about the Rich Dad. Because right now he hinted on things we already covered. Like a house is not an asset. Your house, the house you live in, is not an asset. Because he defined an asset as something that brings money to your pocket. If you have a house and you don't get a paycheck from that house, money from that house, it's not an asset. But you have to get how he describes in that book. For those of you who are watched, you've seen, we've got that lesson already. Now, what is our takeaway? For me, this is what I took away. I said, they were both successful. They were both earning good money. But they were seeing things very differently. Because the poor one was not financially literate. He read books, he was a reader, but he wasn't reading the books about money and how to manage it and all that. So he relied on accountants, financial advisors, and they were asking him to just go, advising him to go buy a bigger house so he can save, because to deduct more so he can have less money, this taxable income. But that's not good advice. Now on the right, okay, the other thing he did, he had less time for the family. He was overworked. He was working too hard. How about the rich one? The rich one was financially literate. And remember, if you know the knowledge from the Rich Dad book, he was just an 8th grader. He didn't even go to high school. But he was financially literate. So he hired employees. He hired people who were experts. We got that lesson before. He had the best experts in all areas to manage, to run his stuff, his businesses. And he was always paying less taxes. We got that lesson from corporation, the advantages. And he's more time with family. That's how he was able to teach his son and Robert all this, the knowledge. So I think you get from that the advantages. So we need to be financially literate. I wish more people would watch these videos, but they don't. There's a lot of knowledge in these books, and I'm just reading them, just watching these videos. You can get the knowledge for free. The links are in the description, by the way. A link that takes you to all the videos that are finished up to number 25. You just go to the Cashflow Quadrant playlist, but I have it a link at the end of this video. This very video, when you're at the ending, there is a list end screen, Cashflow Quadrant. You click on that, it will take you to all of them, and then I pin a comment on the top of the comments, the top comment. It's all take you to the ones I finished. Then in the description, if you want to get to the book, it's free audio, and also the physical book through Amazon.com. There's a link there also. It goes through my website. I call it Amazon Deals. You see the book. And this one too. If you want this one, you better to read this one first before you get to this one. To follow what we are doing in this book, you have to have some knowledge first, because this is a little bit advanced now. But the basics, know an asset, a liability, you have to get the Rich Dad. The both Rich Dad Quadrant, they're all on that page. On my website, honestsoul.com, there's a page I call Amazon Deals. When you click on it, it'll take you to Amazon.com, and then you can buy. But if you want audio, still, the link will take you to Amazon Audible, but you have to search for these books. You have to say Cashflow Quadrant or Rich Dad, Poor Dad. You listen free for 1 month. You can only choose one. You can't choose both. You decide, but I suggest you start with Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Even if you heard of it before, most people say, I've heard it, about it, but they don't actually remember. Remember, it has been revised. I also had read the older version. This one, there is a lot. So that's my video today. Please check. I'm back talking about subscription, because the subscription is down, because I'm not talking about it anymore. I was talking about it before I go to 10K. Please check it. If you're watching me and you think this is value, please check your red button. Check at the bottom. You see a red button? If it's red, that means you haven't supported this message. Please click on it, subscribe. Check on the right. On the right, there is a bell that will come up. Click on the bell so that you get notified, and choose all. So you're notified whenever I have new things happening here. I feel like what we're doing here is great. Come join me. Leave a comment. Like the video, please. Share. Like I always end them, I said, take very good care of yourself. Take very good care of your families. Take very good care of your health. Without health, you have nothing. You can't do anything. So take good care of your health, especially these days. Take a step to a better you. Bye-bye.